Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure a DHCP server in the server 2016. Okay, so this is my server. This is part of the domain. Okay, what I will do, I will go to server manager, open the server manager, and I am in the server manager now. Now, in order to configure this server to a DHCP server, I need to add a role called DHCP. How to add the DHCP role? Click on add roles and features. Next, click on role based or feature based installation. Yes, select it and continue. And this is the information of your server. Fine. And now you can see a service called a role called DHCP server. Click on the DHCP server, add features, and say next. Say next, 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 and you can install the role. So once you install the role, you get a notification here. See, just now this notification started here. It will take a while. We need to wait for this to happen. It is a feature installation, which is the DHCP feature installation is happening now. Yeah, now you see it is completed. It says configuration is required. Installation succeeded on adc01.microsoft.com. Now you have an option here, complete the DHCP configuration. Click on that and say next and just commit it. This is to finalize the installation. Now, if you go to tools, now you want to know where is my DHCP installed and configure the some of the options. Now click on tools option. You see an option called DHCP. Click on the DHCP. Okay, now try to maximize it. Yeah, try to maximize it, and you can see both the IP version 4 and IP version 6. Now, currently the IP version 4 is in largely used. Let me go and work on the IP version 4 itself. Right click on the, see now in this DHCP, you don't see any other option apart from the server option, policies and filter, but there is no scope created. Now, I want to create a DHCP scope for my Bangalore office users. How to create that? Very simple. Right click on IP version 4 and you see an option called new scope. Select that new scope and this wizard start open. Then say next and put the name for your DHCP scope. Now let me give BNG hyphen office or guests. Okay, say for example you have a guest scope created and the name is BNG hyphen guest. Say next. And the IP address, you can define whatever IP address you want, but normally this information will be given by the network team. So whenever there is a ticket comes to you stating that create a new DHCP scope in the DHCP server, in that email itself or in the ticket itself, you will get all this information. What is the scope name? What is the start IP? What is the end IP? Okay, and what is the exclusion range? All those information you will get it in the email or the ticket itself. Now since we are doing the lab, I can give you some random value. Let me take this 172.16.1.1 to 172.16.1.255 and it's a class B IP address and I'll say next. Exclusion range, I don't want to do it any exclusion as of now. Let me go with next. And this is the least duration I told you. By default, it is 8 days. You can see, you can change it to how much hour days you want or how much hours you want. So say next. Then once you say next, it will ask you to configure the DHCP option. Click on the first option. Yes, I want to configure this option now and say next. And you have to mention the router IP address. That also you will get it in the ticket, but in my case it is 172.16.1.1 is my router IP. Let me add it and say next. And you see, since my computer is in the domain called Microsoft.com, it automatically detected the domain name as well as the DNS addresses. So let me go with the default, say next. Means it is not required. This is the legacy version of the DNS. Means before the DNS we had this Windows Information Services. Okay, and this is the legacy. We don't have any dependency now. Let me ignore this and say next. And now once I enter all this information, it is asking me to activate the scope. Do you want to activate? Yes, I want to activate and say next and say finish. Now, once you click on the finish, you can see a new scope called Bangalore guest being created. See here, and that Bangalore BNG hyphen guest. If you right click, how many IP address you have to see that, right click on the scope and go to the option called display statistics. Click on the display statistics and it says the total address is 255. In use is 0 and available is 255. That means all the 255 IP address are there now and there is no used or there is no exclusion and there is no reservation is also available there. Okay. Now let me go to the address pool. You can see the address pool. It says the start IP is 192.168.1.12, 172.16.1.12, 172.16.1.255. So this is the address range for distribution. Means the DHCP will start giving the IP address from 1 to 255. There is no exclusion. Now let me create an exclusion. How to create? You can even right click on the address pool and you can say new exclusion range, or you can just right click here and say new exclusion range. Yeah, I want I in the email or in the ticket they have mentioned to exclude the first 25 IP addresses. 172.16.1.1 to 172.16.1.25 means first 25 addresses are excluded from the distribution. Add OK and see it says it is into mark is there in the directory, you see, and from where 172.16.1.1 to 172.16.1.25 there are about 25 IP address got excluded from the distribution. Now let me go to the scope, right click and now check how many IP addresses are there in the statistics. It says now earlier it was showing you 255 address total and available also 255 was there, but now it says only 230 because out of 255 I have excluded 25 IP address from the distribution. And if you want to see what are all the things at leases, just click on it and you don't have anything. Now let me go to the reservation. In the reservation I don't have anything. So reservation means you already know. Reservation means reserving an IP address for the particular computer for the longer time. Okay. So now if you want to do the reservation, what all information you wanted, you just want to know an MAC address of a computer. So do one thing. I'll just go to this server command prompt and I say ipconfig slash all. When I run this command, ipconfig, okay, there is a spelling mistake. Let me correct that. ipconfig slash all. It will tell you the physical address of the computer. See, the physical address will be stored in the network interface card. See, 00 OC29 F6 F83A. It is a 12-digit alphanumeric value. Copy that MAC ID and now go to the reservation. Right click on the reservation here. Right click on the reservation and say new reservation. When you click on the new reservation, it is asking you to enter some name. Now you can put it is the DHCP server IP address. What is IP? 1.10 I could say. Okay, so 1.10 I am reserving for the DHCP server, and what is the MAC address of that? Let me paste the MAC address, and this one the supported type can be both. Okay, and description if you want to add description, DHCP server IP. Okay, if you click on add, Now the reservation got created, and now if you go to the address leases, and you can see this IP address added there. See, the client IP address is 172.16.1.10, and that name is DHCP server. Reservation is inactive, and unique ID is there, like all the description, everything. You can see it in the address leases option. Now, if you go to quickly on the scope option, right click and say display statistics, you see 230 IP address are there. Yeah. So this is still not active. That is the reason it is uh, not one. So let me do one thing. Let me create one more reservation. This is my printer example and put 1.15 and MAC ID. Let me put AA and add. Now one more got reserved. Now if you go to the scope option, display statistics, yeah, 230, because this is, you know why the things is not adding, because the IP address I am reserving, that is of excluded range. Why I wanted to show you this one? The excluded range of IP address can be reserved, but the reserved IP cannot be excluded. See here, let me go to the IP address now. Go to configure option and double click on this, or do one thing, right click and delete it. Both I'll delete. And now what I will do, I will just add in the range of distribution 1. Go to the reservation, right click on the reservation. Okay, now give the name called DHCP server IP, but now give 1.26 or 1.50. Okay, now put the MAC ID 3A, add. See, now one more reservation added. Now new reservation, this is my printer and IP address is 1.51, say for example. Now add the MAC ID and you put AA. Okay, now add. Once you add that, you can see there are two IP addresses are added. Now right click on the scope and see the statistics. There are two IP addresses are in use. See, total address is 230 and in use is 2 and available is 228. Why? Because now the IP address 50 and 51 are there in the distribution range. See, 1 to 25 is excluded, means from 26 to 255 it is in the distribution range. Since I am using the IP address 50 and 51 in the distribution range, the two IP address in the scope got reduced. That's the trick here. Now if you want to do any changes in the scope option, right click, go to properties, and here you can see change the option. You can even change the lease duration from 8 days to 4 days. We can apply here. Sometimes what happens, you don't want 4 days, you need to have maybe 1 hour, that can also put like this. And DNS, if you want to change it, and advanced, all those things are there. This is the information. Okay, this is how we do the DHCP related activities in the real time. That's all about the DHCP. I will upload this video in the channel. Please comment us if you need any other support. Thank you all for watching.